All righty. Well, hello everyone. This is Tustin Longevity. Talk to the doctor. I'm Dr. Ella Thorpe, and I have a guest with me. You might know who she is because she looks so much like me. She's my sister, Debbie Bishulas. And so she's all the way from Northern Illinois, Rockton, Illinois, Northern Illinois. And she's here visiting with me and is going to be helping me with my lecture that we're going to do in Las Vegas.
Right.
We're leaving tomorrow, and I'm teaching doctors about chelation therapy there.
Yep.
And then we're going to be teaching them about cell membrane repair with phospholipid replacement therapy and the doctor's nutrition bar.
That's right. We'll be showing the doctor's nutrition bar to all the doctors.
Mhm.
So pretty excited.
And so we will be able to, you can learn a little bit about me. You know my son Talon, and you've seen him on here. So we have the email questions that we will be going through, and Debbie will be going through them. I haven't seen the questions yet. As always, they're printed out right beforehand. And then I'll do my best to try and answer them. And if I don't have the answer, I'll tell you that. But this is not meant to be personal medical advice. This is educational. And how we would approach here at Tustin Longevity, we're a group of 7 physicians who are doing the functional, natural, integrative medicine. And we try and do things with lifestyle and natural methods beforehand, and teach taking personal responsibility for your health. And then, as needed, if it's necessary, we do prescription medicines and imaging and consult with our consultants. So, Debbie, what do you think of Illinois, well, California sunshine and wonderful weather?
Right. Here I'm from Illinois. We get lots and lots of rain. Decided to, I'm going to come out and help my sister at ACAM. And here we roll right into a great big huge thunderstorm. Thank you, California.
So anyway, yeah, that was funny. And we told Debbie that she has to come back every 3 months to bring rain to us. She did a rain dance on the airplane, calling for the rain.
So you're welcome, everybody.
Yeah, there you go, watering the plants. So why don't we begin, Debbie?
Okay, this first question is from Elizabeth. And she says, I am 74. And 1 year ago, my new doctor, I was put on 75 milligrams of levothyroxine in the morning and also 10 milligrams of liothyronine in the morning and 5 milligrams in the afternoon. I also have been taking bioidentical estradiol cream, 1/2 milligram in the morning and 1/2 in the evening, and bioidentical progesterone capsules and olive oil. Let's see. I have been taking estradiol and progesterone for many years and have felt great. When I have stopped the estradiol and progesterone in the past, I felt terrible. When I was put on the thyroid hormones 1 year ago, I didn't feel any better, but actually worse and lost a lot of hair. For the last 4 months, I have been experiencing hot flashes that wake me up at night and are very annoying during the day. Could the thyroid hormones be causing the hot flashes?
Well, I compliment your doctor for trying to put you on natural hormones because estradiol and progesterone and thyroid are natural things that our body requires for its metabolism and repair. So these are like construction engine material. But when you add in thyroid, that speeds up your metabolism. And when you speed up your metabolism, then you could be processing your estradiol and progesterone more rapidly, and therefore the effect of the estradiol could be diminished. Elizabeth, I hope that your doctor is measuring your follow-up estradiol since you were put on the thyroid medication in this past 1 year. Normally, when we adjust hormones, add in a hormone, but whether it's thyroid, whether it's estradiol, progesterone, we try within 3 months to look at the picture again and see how your body's receiving this and discuss whether or not you're having any symptoms like she is. So what I would have Elizabeth do is to go back to her doctor who has given her these hormones. Now, I'm going to say levothyroxine isn't what I call really natural in the sense that it's primarily T4, and T4 is just a precursor for your thyroid. Your body has to convert it to T3, which is the active form. Now, he gave you, or she gave you, the leothreonine also, which is the 5 microgram, not milligrams,
Okay.
it's 5 microgram, and to take in the afternoon. And so that is the actual thyroid hormone. So what I would say, Elizabeth, is get a new level and have that looked at and have them do your free T3. Very often these doctors will just do a TSH and a T4, and that's not adequate enough. You have to get the free T3. So that's how I would approach that, Elizabeth, if I was seeing someone with this kind of a history. And that would be how we would approach that. Once again, this isn't my medical management of you. This is how I would approach anybody who's doing that. All right,
Okay, so we're ready for the next one?
Yeah.
This is from Asia, and she says, "Hi, Dr. Rita. This morning I woke up and got out of bed. I was dizzy and had to walk against the wall to maintain balance. I started drinking water and was feeling nauseous. Eventually I felt fine, but I do not like the dizzy feeling. What could this be from? My first thought was, I'm about to get my period soon. Another symptom I've had is I get a headache for 3 days right at the beginning of my cycle. It's the worst type of headache, and no amount of aspirin will take it away. I am using progesterone, the Kokoro brand. Any advice about the headaches as well? I make sure I drink proper amount of water. Thank you."
Well, Asia, I do know who you are, and I do know your age. And as you're in that perimenopausal age, in the mid 40s to late 40s, women will start having hormonal changes. Now, these hormonal changes very often are associated with the feeling of dizziness or lightheaded or a rush feeling where you feel imbalance. The other thing is this could be what we call vertigo, and that's where the seasons are changing here in California and the pollens, and that congestion is generating increased pressure in your head and even on the little loops of Helene that are doing the flow dynamics of your head position, okay? And so as we age, benign positional vertigo is a common side effect of aging if we're getting congested and our little pipes are getting a little rusty and clogged and stuff with not enough water, too many sugars, food allergies. But then it's complicated with hormonal changes, and these changes are associated with these feelings of lightheadedness, dizziness. So your hormones probably need to be checked, and the Kokoro is a over-the-counter progesterone cream, and it's low dose, it's not high dose. And so a time comes when you probably need to step up to a higher, more potent form of progesterone because your body is aging with time and needs a more impactful dose. And it is also well understood that progesterone does help with headaches, okay, if it's high enough. So we like to get progesterone, and that's measured in picograms, whereas estradiol is measured in nanograms. And so you want a higher progesterone level, maybe like a 4, 5, 6, 10, 12, even 20, but at least above 4. And I don't know that the Kokoro cream can get you to that level consistently. So I would follow up with, come in and make an appointment with us and see me, and we'll see where these levels are. And you get tight with your low carb and your healthy avoidance of food allergies, and use your enzymes, because enzymes are like little cleansers to help clean the pipes, so to say. Chelation therapy is another part of that might be considered useful. And then we should be able to help you with the headaches with more progesterone, and look at the allergy picture if there's some vertigo type activity going on here. That's how I would approach that, Asia.
Okay. So the next question we have is from Gloria. She says, hello, I'm suffering with hot flashes. What do you think about bioidentical hormones? Do they cause cancer? I asked my doctor and he said not to use them and prescribed antidepressants, pills like Xanax. What do you recommend? Can you email the answer, please? God bless.
Well, this will be on the blog. If you go on to tlcdoctors.com and you look at these, we will have all these answers typed out on the blog so you can see that. Now, I do not like the addictive opioid product Xanax. Xanax is from the opioid family, and you can become addicted to it, and you can become tolerant to it and need more and more and more. So that is not how I see helping you. Anyone who is getting in that hot flash time, you're getting to a point where you're losing your hormones, and that generates these climacteric rushes, the lightheadedness, but also the vasoactivity that creates these hot flashes. It's not quite understood why that happens, but we know that when an estradiol level is restored, if you get to an estradiol level that suppresses the hot flashes, it helps your memory, it helps your mood, your energy, your sleep depth, and it's calming. And that would be the direction to go with natural human bioidentical estradiol balanced with progesterone, because God had us have a cycle with estradiol that's undulating, but you always have estradiol, and then you have appearance of progesterone 2 weeks out of every month. And this is what we would try and recreate for her. And usually all our patients do well. Now, as to the question of do hormones cause cancer, there's a book called Estrogen Matters. So I would go and get that book and buy a second one and make it as a gift to your dear physician and have him read it. Or he could go to Tustin Longevity Center and YouTube and type in what is the title of it? Hormone replacement therapy to gynecologists response, I think is it. Hormone replacement therapy to gynecologists respond. And there you'll see Dr. Merrick and Dr. Mitchell, board certified OBGYN doctors, and they discuss this very issue of the confusion about claiming estradiol hormone replacement therapy causes cancer. And it's negated. The book Estrogen Matters is reviewed in that video. It's a very nice, thorough review, and then you can get the book. I've been practicing medicine 41 years, and I have never seen any negative effect of natural hormones. What causes breast cancer is really oxidative stress from hypoxia and metabolic dysfunction in the mitochondria, where there is lack of blood supply to the breast tissues. And usually this is seen in many times if you're overweight, and the capillaries get clogged, the cells get choked, and then that hypoxic environment is replicative of when you started out as a 2-celled, 4, 8, 16-celled without any lungs or circulatory system. It was hypoxic, and your body was rapidly growing until a blood supply occurred, and that blood supply through the umbilicus and the placenta is associated with the activity of the pancreas producing enzymes. So there's this beautiful theory by Dr. John Beard in 1909, which is discussing the theory of the embryonic trophoblastic theory of cancer, that when a cell is irritated for so long and choked, it reverts back to its DNA behavior when we started as just two cells trying rapidly to grow a new blood supply and to survive. So until that blood supply occurs, and enzymes, which happens right at the umbilicus and pancreas, that shuts off this rapid growth. So if you did a biopsy of any woman's breasts, and I'm at 70, so if you biopsied me right now, you would see estrogen receptors on my breast cells. On the biopsy, you would see progesterone receptors. That's healthy. So this myth that just because you see an estrogen receptor still positive on a cell that's starting to become angry and become malignant in its behavior, it doesn't mean estradiol is a problem. It's a good sign, because these are the more successful, easier to manage breast cancers. And the cell didn't lose its full character and become completely teratogenic and morphed into a very aggressive form. So I'm going to say, read the book Estrogen Matters. I'm going to say, hormones don't cause cancer. I'm going to say, listen to some doctors. There's another book by Dr. Elaine Day, who wrote a book back in the 90s about her experience with breast cancer. She was an orthopedic doctor who went through this process herself. So no, I'm not going to say hormones cause cancer. Yes, I think it's a wonderful thing to do. And no, I would not use drugs that are synthetic. You're not having a deficiency of benzodiazepine-based Xanax or antidepressant drugs. You need the mood elevation of your natural hormones.
Okay, real good. The next question comes from Lois, and she says, why is my mouth so dry at night while sleeping?
We are often, as we age, just like we get a double chin with the hanging of the skin, our collagen, elastin, and the hyoid bone that our muscles for swallowing are attached to, there's a sag occurring. And the larynx itself, the whole box is shifting. And so when we sleep at night, this laxity, the lack of tone, is associated with our mouth opening and our palate being exposed to the air and our mouth dropping open. This is typically the cause of why that's happening. And as we age, we dry up. Number one, we don't drink enough water. Number two, our cell membranes are starting to get more irritated and damaged, and our repair of the cell membrane is inferior, so it can't live as well and secrete the mucin and the materials that help keep the slipperiness, you might say, of your throat and mucin production. So I would say, Lois, this is all a part of aging. Then you have allergies seasonally that aggravate it. Then you have the air conditioning or the heating that comes on that dries us out. So it's multifaceted, aggravated with aging, lack of the hormones, and the actual sagging of the larynx and the tissues, and so all of that.
Okay. The next question we have is from Danae, and she says, I'm wondering if you might speak to gallbladder removal and treatment of a very hyperactive gallbladder. Through HIDA scan, the gallbladder emptying rate is in the high 90th percentile. I've had nearly a decade of upper right quadrant pain, however, minimal nausea, diarrhea, or reflux issues in the past. One removed with challenges. Should I be watching out for a supporting role help the body transition without a gallbladder?
Well, it's a little confusing,
Mhm.
Danae, what you're saying. I'm not quite sure whether you've had your gallbladder removed or not yet. So, your blood type matters on this. Age matters. So, our ability to digest food and to have that chopped up in nice way so that as it passes out of the stomach into the duodenal area, those properly chopped up fats and proteins into amino acids have a secondary messaging impact to the pancreas and to the gallbladder for activity. And there are receptors in the upper part of the duodenum for sugar metabolism, GLUT1 receptors and all. So your digestion is diminished with aging as time passes. And if you're a blood type A, that is worsened, that's amplified, okay? So if you don't digest your food well just with age, and worse if you're a blood type A who has that as a feature of their, their constitution, then your gallbladder is going to get these mixed messages and either overactivity or underactivity. So the first thing I would do is I would see a functional doctor that understands blood type, understands aging and digestion, understands the proper role and timing of eating. We should not be eating late at night. The proper role of exercise in the function of a healthy bowel, the proper role of carbohydrates in a diet or plant foods. And we would start with a patient with those kind of symptoms after figuring out her blood type, if there's food sensitivities that aggravate it by reactivity, because your immune system lines your gut also. I need some water. But if we help you digest better, and if we can help you get phospholipids to repair the cell membranes so they're less triggered, and if we can help you so that you're not putting down food allergens that amplify inflammation and overactivity, that's the method that we would step through, and then limit your time of eating so that you would not swallow any food past 6 o'clock. And then we'd find out what kind of exercise activity you're doing and absolutely how much water you drink every day. And then if you're taking other things that are cholinergic, stimulating the gallbladder, there are foods that stimulate it. We'd go through a list of that, how much coffee she's drinking and the like. And then I think that's the way we would begin to help her understand management. Now, if she has stones, she should have, I don't know if she has stones or not, but she didn't mention that. But she should have a gastroenterologist and general surgeon who can monitor, because if she chooses not to remove her gallbladder and work with helping to calm it down, God forbid there be a stone that clogs the cystic duct where it goes into the duodenum to help digest the food and emulsify the fats for absorption. We would want a surgeon to follow her along during that time. So those are some general thoughts that we would do from a functional point of view. Probiotics is a whole nother area that we would talk about.
Okay. So the next question that came through is from Elizabeth, and she says, "Hello, I'm a former patient who moved away to Connecticut, and now I'm in Georgia. I miss seeing you.
Mm-hmm.
I get headaches when I'm doing my fasting. They are located in the front of my head, around my eyes, and my forehead. What should I do to alleviate them? I am just getting back to doing 24 to 48-hour fasts weekly. Right now, I take an over-the-counter headache pill and keep fasting. Is that okay? Also, can I still use the online shop even though I can't have appointments with you anymore. If the laws change, I would love to be able to see you remotely again. Thank you for your time. God bless.
Well, God bless you, Elizabeth. Thank you for your kind statements. What I would say is it's revealing that you're just getting back to this 24 to 48 hour fast. And whenever we withdraw from carbohydrates, if you have not had a pattern or a discipline ongoing on a steady plane, your body acclimates to a certain amount of reactivity and expectation of those carbohydrate treats coming in. And if you then stop and start a fast 24 hours, that headache is a withdrawal symptom. And so that is something that any withdrawal symptom has to be endured. I would persevere through. I would drink plenty of water. I would make sure I'm drinking half your weight in pounds as ounces of water every day. And I would use only headache medications if absolutely necessary. And I would go for something more like Tylenol because Motrin, ibuprofen, Advil, these have an irritating effect on the stomach, and especially if your stomach is empty, that's going to be hard on your stomach. Those are normally expected to be taken with food, whereas Tylenol, you can take it without it. Now, Tylenol is not something I want you to do. I want you to gradually get back into your fast, and I would do that maybe instead of a 24-hour fast, I would do what we would call a time-restricted eating, so that just give up breakfast and only eat between noon and 6 p.m. Run that for about a month. And if you tolerate that well and you're tightening up on your carbs and exercising, and that with some weight resistance. And Debbie, was I a good girl and did I do my exercise workouts?
Yes, you did.
And I get up early and do that?
Yes, you did. She was out there this morning and she did it. She's a good little sister.
So the weight resistance will help tune up your metabolism to manage carbohydrate shifting. So maybe I would be easing into fasting a little more gently so you don't have such a dramatic withdrawal reaction. Now, there's other things like looking at your hormone levels, looking at your cortisol and DHEA, which helps you deal with stress in your adrenal glands. It's important to have enough magnesium and potassium on board. You might be electrolyte deficient. So if you go on a 24-hour fast, and I would have to know your blood type, I would say maybe if you drank a electrolyte solution, that would also help with your hydration to avoid headaches with that. So ease into it a little bit more gently. Try and do a restricted time eating between noon and 6 p.m. And then maybe the next 2-3 weeks, you could shave it to eat between 1 and 5 p.m. for a few weeks, and then see if you can shave it to eating between 2 and 4. Do you see what I'm saying? So you just narrow the time down so it isn't such a change. And now I'm at a point where I can go 5 days without eating, and I do fine. The first day is semi-okay. Day 2 is always my hard day. But once I'm past the 48 hours, I've been so low carb, I just shift into, gluconeogenesis and lipolysis, and I can go days. I choose to stop at 5 days.
The second day, that's a hard day. Why is it the hard day? Is it?
Well, because
Just the hunger?
I had been eating some carbs, albeit low, intermittently. And although I'm more carnivore-like, when I take it all away, even my body reacts, but it's very brief and momentary. And I have my TLC multi-mineral I'll take with the potassium and the magnesium in it. And then I will take my L-carnitine, which helps carry acetyl groups for energy production and flipping to burning fat. So I get satiation from consuming my own fat. So that's why, and that's how I would approach that.
Okay. So it looks like we have here Elizabeth. She got a question from last week. Will you address my question tonight? I don't know if we have that.
I don't
right?
have that question from last week.
Yeah.
But I know I went through every question last week.
Yes, you did. I was on.
Yeah, I had 100%. So go back to last week.
For the transcription?
Yeah, for the transcript, and I swear to you, I know I did it.
Yeah, so it should be in that transcription. Okay, here we have a question from Donna. Can D-mannose be used daily for reoccurring UTIs, or is it not safe for cancer patients?
No, it can be. D-mannose is not absorbed, so it stays in the gut and the urinary tract and bladder, and it works to kind of put a coating along the lining of the bladder to stop the ease of adherence of bacteria, so it is safe to use.
Okay. The next question is from Cynthia, and she says, blessings to you, Dr. Ella Thorpe. Thank you for taking our questions. A few weeks ago, you offered suggestions to a grandmother in San Diego who was unable to see a newborn grandchild due to not having shots. I live in OC and am in the similar situation with a 2-month-old grandchild in Northern California whom I may not see for several months because I have not taken shots. DPT is a concern for the parents, and I'm wanting to have an antibody test, as you suggested to the grandmother who asked the question previously. My questions are, where do I go to get one, and would it be a reliable result, as I have not had any inoculations for many years? I do not have a GP. I asked the nurse at the endocrinologist's office where I have had annual blood work done, and she said that they will not write a prescription for the test. I appreciate any advice that you can offer. I have an appointment with Dr. Merrick in March of 2023. Thank you, and may God continue to bless you and your family.
Well, here's what I would do as an individual. And I would say this, as a grandmother who just finished seeing my 7-week-old grandson, Cruz Bright Ella Thorpe, Talon's newborn. I don't know how to put this into words. You have to go to a internist or a general practitioner, family practitioner, doctor, and work with your in-laws, or your daughter-in-law or son-in-law, whoever it is, and you can ask that general practitioner to order a pertussis antibody titer, okay? DPT, pertussis, diphtheria, tetanus. And you can get titers to tetanus, titers to pertussis, titers to diphtheria. And then we all have old antibodies to it. And we'll find out where you're at. Although that isn't the final answer, a good doctor should be willing to do that for you. But I don't think you need to do that because you're, if you're not symptomatic, if you're not having cold, cough, runny nose, sneezing, and you're in good health, you should do well. And you've had your old vaccinations. There is no data precedent setting now that all grandparents, before they hold their newborns, have to be screened for antibody titers. That's unsubstantiated recommendations. So my heart goes out to you to work that out. Find a good general practitioner or a good internist or family practice provider who will run those titers for you. And if you're healthy, and I would focus on drinking my water, getting a good night's sleep, exercising, being low carb to boost your immune system, eat a humble diet, try, like, what did we have for dinner tonight?
Meatloaf and broccoli. That's pretty humble.
Yeah, and so there wasn't a wild variety, even though we're visiting and stuff. We don't want to succumb to that temptation, and that's the direction I would advise you to go, Cynthia. And God bless you, and I pray it all works out for you.
Okay. So we have a next question from Tara, and she says, "Hello, I was wondering if iron deficiency anemia can contribute to hair loss in an otherwise healthy female in early 30s. Blood type A positive. Would you recommend doing IV EDTA if experiencing anemia? Thank you."
Well, A's as a class don't digest as well, and they don't absorb their minerals well, and they learn to become dependent on a plant-based diet because it's easier to digest. But we're not made of plants. So it's the A's that get the mineral deficiencies because the most dense mineral deficient nutrients you can eat would be like oysters, clams, crustaceans, meat, liver, chicken, fish, pork, all these meat, flesh, animal products, fish products. And if you are not sticking with a higher plant base, you're going to over time be diminished. And that includes the iron because we get the iron usually from eating the flesh of a beef that has blood in the muscle cell and the iron in it. And that's our way of doing it. EDTA chelation removes toxic heavy metals, not nutrient minerals. And I'm going to be teaching this day after tomorrow. So yes, you can do EDTA chelation, but I would ask you to use a multi-mineral. We, as a standard in our teaching for certification for doctors, to use a multi-mineral every day. Although I've never seen EDTA chelation cause a mineral deficiency. So I would make sure you're eating enough iron through the eating of meat and pork and chicken, beef, things like that, and use that orthodigestive enzyme. And for Cynthia above, the grandmother who wants to be around her grandbaby, of course I want her to be taking vitamin D3 every day, 10,000 units for her immune system. Take zinc in the form of a good multi-mineral chelated zinc. And she could take extra vitamin C. None of us make all humans don't make vitamin C, nor do guinea pigs. So we should have that. I rely on my Juice Plus every day to be my vitamin C source. So did I answer that question, Debbie?
Yeah. Yeah, that's so. Okay. The next question is a long one here from Justine. Hi, thank you for reading my question. Do I have early symptoms of dementia or Alzheimer's, or how can I manage stress and prevent problems? Please advise.
Just go through
it. Okay. I am type A positive. I'm a 43-year-old Caucasian woman, 5'2", weigh 108 pounds with a intolerance to gluten. I've been on a gluten-free diet. I've learned to eat more frequently, typically low D at 27. Got it up to 32 with raw D from Garden of Life. I have been to so many different doctors. It started 8 years ago. I went to a physician to find out why I had extreme fatigue, insomnia, awake 24 hours or more, and negative thoughts with bouts of anger. I tested positive for intrinsic factor antibodies. Since then, my husband has been getting B12 injectable from a Guff compounding pharmacy for me. I inject weekly because I don't know how else to keep going. I don't seem to absorb B12 orally or sublingually. The physician said to consider gluten-free. I didn't follow that, and I paid for it in stomach pain, bloat, and joint inflammation and brain fog. Recently, I saw a GI doctor and hematologist. I am on 50, is it microgram?
Milligram.
Of iron every other day. I can't tell if it helps with energy. I have too much trouble focusing and remembering things. I'm not on any other medications. I do not drink alcohol. Since age 21, it has made me extremely ill, even a small amount such as 2 ounces of wine. I don't drink caffeine because I'm highly sensitive to it as well. I'm very concerned about my weekly mental confusion, inability to complete tasks. One day I will have suicidal thoughts, but then the next day I'm perfectly happy and ready to help others with little fatigue. I pray a lot. I have done my best to manage my diet. I walk on a treadmill 3 times a week for 30 to 40 minutes. It seems like it helps me manage stress, but suddenly on some days I have bouts of crying and don't always coincide with my cycle, which is regular. I have passed out due to low blood sugar recently. It seems that my blood sugar drops quickly during perceived stress. I have tested it several times in different ways. I believe 2 Timothy 1:7, yet I have had panic attacks since December of 2021, after I have recovered from COVID-19. I have experienced secondary post-traumatic stress from the sudden loss of a loved one over a year ago, and also the same thing with another loved one 15 years ago.
Well, Justine, you're a blood type A. A's as a class of people just don't digest fat and protein well. If we're composed of protein and fat and not plant food, remember this is the cell membrane, and this is a double layer of phospholipids hanging up and down like that, and these are the protein receptors. 50% fat, 50% protein. And life is always a situation where you have damage from, viruses, bacteria, toxins, heavy metals, volatile organic acid, benzoid rings, plastics, microplastics, stress, lack of sleep, bacteria, fungus, viruses. And so by the time you hit, your 20s, and if you're a blood type A, and not all A's are equal, but you sound like one of the more sensitive A's, being only 43, having this much trouble, even to the point thinking you're getting dementia or Alzheimer's. So you have to remember your brain is about 70-75% fat. Your nerves are ensheathed with a myelin sheath that's composed of fat. We have to eat the cholesterol. We have to eat the fat. We have to eat the protein to do the reconstruction of these materials. And if you have cell membranes with holes busted in it, you become hypersensitive, and your ability to tolerate stress diminishes more and more with time. So your doctor has to get you to be using orthodigestive enzyme, which has betaine hydrochloric acid and digestive enzymes to help you eat a richer fatty protein diet every day. And the quicker you do it, the quicker you'll heal. And that will help you absorb your minerals and help you not to be dependent on iron supplements and so many other supplements. You can't absorb B's, and you can't make your own B vitamin, B12, because you have to have enough stomach acid to make intrinsic factor to absorb B12, and you don't have it. So you're on a breakdown story. I have these kind of patients all the time. And I take the time to educate them that you have to, every time you eat, use a digestive enzyme with betaine hydrochloric acid every single time you eat. You have to put the fats in there and the skin of the chicken with it. And you have to butter your food, and you have to stop eating by 6 o'clock. Then your body will start repairing. That's why if you could hand me not that one, the NT powder, and give me the bio, the one on the bottom. We increase and accelerate the rate of healing by giving this BioPC Pro phospholipid to mix with this one right here, the protein. So we mix these two together morning and evening, a scoop of each, in room temperature water to help repair these holes that are in every cell membrane, including your nerves. And then you probably are having diminished estradiol production, diminished progesterone, and so you're coming to a pathway where we see hormonally you're getting perimenopausal, you have the cell membrane phospholipid protein diminished, you don't have enough stomach acid. So unless you get some doctor that's going to help you to start working on getting fat and protein into your diet, it's not going to bode well for you. So we would encourage you strongly to get that orthodigestive enzyme, a enzyme with betaine hydrochloric acid in it. Start eating a rich protein, fatty diet with your enzymes. Get your hormones checked. Get your multi-mineral supplement, not just iron. And then I would, besides the multi-mineral, I'd be on the shielding antioxidant protection. Once you repair something, use Juice Plus as a shield. Get on a vitamin D, which is more like 10,000 international units every day with vitamin K2, and then have your doctor recheck that level 4 to 6, maybe 8 weeks later to see if your level of D, which is fat soluble, is coming up, okay? Then you'll get this nice calming cushion, the insulation of your nerves, the calmness. And remember, your hormones are made of the cholesterol fat line. So your body's crying for fat and protein. That's all you need. And that would be the direction. Find some doctor that can walk you through that. And you'll do just fine. You'll be so solid, so stable, praise God, and he will bless you.
Great. Super. Okay, the next question we have from Linda. Do you have any suggestions for tinnitus? I have been dealing with it for about a year and a half in the right ear. Thank you.
Tinnitus is very difficult to deal with. The cause, treatment is most challenging. Again, your nerves have to be insulated properly. Find out your blood type. Make sure you're eating a healthy, rich, protein, fatty diet. Drinking enough water. EDTA chelation will improve the microcirculation to the nerves in your brain and your cochlea and your hearing apparatus. Because if you have breaks in the insulation of a nerve, okay, and you have salts, we are electrochemical beings, you can get these misinformational signals. And it can be a tremor, it can be forgetfulness, it can be a ringing in your ears. So we have to work on our body much like mechanics and get that oil greased up and have that checked with doctors who do a whole body workout instead of focus on one thing. You have to see everything you're doing here can affect your ringing in your ear. So I would do the EDTA chelation, the systemic enzymes to kind of be like little Pac-Man cleaning up the capillaries, the microcirculation. I would exercise. I would look at hormones because hormones work as general contractors to help orchestrate elastin, collagen, repair, rebuilding, and restoration, and so much more. So find a good functional doctor that will help you walk through that.
Okay, very good. The next question we have is from Justine. What is the difference between L-serine and phospholipid? I had Dr. Rita.
Phosphatidylserine. All right, so serine is an amino acid, and God made the amino acids in dextrorotary and levorotary forms. And our body prefers the left-turning light of the amino acid construction. You can have like a mirror image. Serine has a left and a right rotating, and all the amino acids and many biochemicals. And it's so specific, it only uses the left rotating ones. So that's what L-serine means, okay? Now, phosphatidylserine is the fatty cholesterol-based fat phosphatidyl molecule has the amino acid attached to it, serine, so it's phosphatidylserine. It could be a phosphatidyl ethanolamine. It could be a phosphatidyl choline. There could be many attachments to it to give it a little bit of extra work or construction for your body. And so hopefully that answers that question for her.
We got a little bit more here from Justine. My repletion schedule for my doctor states 1,000 milligrams of glycerine. I don't know why it is suggested for me, but 1,000 milligrams seems like a lot. I can't find it at Sprouts. How do I get it?
Eat meat, eat fish, eat chicken, eat eggs, eat turkey, eat cheese. We're supposed to get all these amino acids in our diet, not from a health food store or even from a functional integrative doctor like ourselves. I will see this on many of the antioxidant assays like SpectraCell or micronutrient assays, and they'll say, oh, you're deficient in this essential amino acid, this vitamin. And so we just start prescribing, just like, all these lists. And I am trying to tell people, eat the food, digest the food, and save your money and find out, try and get yourself to eat a more quiet, humble menu instead of all these spices and varieties. And your immune system and your digestion, and as we all age, we need digestive enzyme. In fact, did we take our digestive enzyme after our meatloaf today, Debbie?
I'm thinking maybe I did.
Did you?
Yes.
Oh, good girl.
Got them in my purse. I've been trained.
Yeah, but you didn't give them to your sister.
Oh, I forgot.
I'm busy.
When I get home.
Okay.
One more quick one from Justine. I feel good after I eat non-GMO soybeans. So should I try and get nutrients like L-serine from that food?
I don't like legumes in general because they're high carb. If you want the most dense concentrated form of amino acids, eat liver, eat organ meat, eat fish, eat chicken, rather than trying to go to the plant kingdom and try and extract isolates out of it. So please eat food.
Okay, the last one here that we have from the emails is from Dorothy. I was to go to the water first before I go into Pilates. I found an indoor pool near me and did 4 laps before I had to get out. I know they have aqua aerobics. My bone scan went from -2 to -2.8 in 2 years. I am doing 20 small jumps every day. I will get ankle weights. Do you have any suggestions? I just want to be safe. One fall could take me out. I know I need flexibility and strength first before endurance.
Well, I know Dorothy, and I believe she is on natural hormone replacement, progesterone, and natural hormone replacement, estradiol, which helps with that. But she also has to be on the vitamin D with K2. And you have to be on a good dose of that, and you have to be faithful with it. And then you have to, one of the things would be maybe getting a rebounder and bouncing on the rebounder, that mini trampoline, because that was designed for the astronauts in NASA in the 1960s, because they would be weightless and they wouldn't have resistance and their bones would acceleratedly start to demineralize. So being on a mini trampoline would be extremely safe. They have a bar on it so you can jump up and down, and that acceleration, deceleration puts a pull on the bone to help the bones with it as well. So that's the direction that I would go. Maybe we can read some of these. Let's see where the start point is here. Okay. All right, so. So Harlow says, blessings. Thank you, Harlow. And then Harlow says, welcome, Mrs. Debbie.
Yay!
And then Blake Means. Oh, this is, he's our internet master. And so, so great seeing you there with your sister. Yes. Remember that Tony Curtis movie where they did Sisters, Sisters. There were never such devoted sisters.
That's
Yeah,
us.
yeah.
All right, back to the scoop.
All right, what's this one?
Let's see. Harlow says the levels of the T4, they're up there.
Yeah.
Levels of T4, 2.24, TSH 0.005, T3 7.1, estradiol 5.0, progesterone 0.4.
Well, in standard medicine, they're going to say the T4 is on the high end, okay? That's the precursor. It's not the active form of the thyroid. The thyroid stimulating hormone is low, 0.005. Presumably, Harlow, you're on thyroid replacement therapy. That's what I'm presuming. So the signal for the TSH will be low because you don't need a signal from your brain if you're taking it through your mouth. The active hormone is T3, free T3 of 7.1. And that's a reasonable level. That's on the upper normal. And if you took that blood test after you took your dose of your thyroid, you're going to get your peak level. So the way I'm looking at this for a man, this is a healthy range. Okay. To me, this looks healthy. If he's on hormone replacement therapy with a glandular thyroid or levothyroxine and cytomel lyothreonine. Estradiol should be low in a man. That's a very nice number of 5 because estradiol stimulates the prostate gland to grow like breast. And progesterone is typical for a man. So those are good numbers.
Okay, the next one is from Robert. Question about orthomolecular BioPC Pro versus Doctor's Bar. How much phospholipids do I get with a bar versus 1 scoop of the powder?
4 grams you get in each bar. That's a huge amount of phospholipids. And then would you hand me the BioPC Pro so I can see what a serving? Yeah. So I have to read. This is new to us here. All right, so it looks like it's 10 grams. Okay, so this is very, very powerful because that's all this is. Your bar has many other things in it. It's got soluble fiber, insoluble fiber, probiotics. It has the essential fats in it, plus the phospholipids in it. So it's a complete meal replacement. This is not a complete meal replacement. This is a complete phospholipid replacement.
Mhm.
So this has more, but they're 2 different uses. You can use them both together. I've never heard of anything such as overdosing with phospholipids, like Daddy would say to Mommy about the fats,
Yeah, too much. Okay, after here we have a question from Harlow. What do you think of the above thyroid? Oh, I think we went through that.
Yeah.
Okay. Again from Harlow, is a vitamin D level of 125 too high?
Absolutely not. And that's based on your doctor getting a comprehensive chemistry, where on the chemistry, you're going to have the liver enzymes. Okay. The liver reflects the processing of the fat and the bile for emulsification of fats and detoxing the body. So if you're taking too much of a fat soluble vitamin, it'll irritate the liver and your liver enzymes will start to rise. And this is one of the things besides which you can look at the calcium on the comprehensive chemistry. So if you start seeing liver enzymes and calcium abnormalities, then you have an understanding that the D could be the cause of you taking it so much. But I've been doing this for decades and decades right now. That's why all my patients stayed well and do well through every viral flu season there is. And we have patients with 150, 170 on their vitamin D level, and their liver enzymes are perfectly normal. Their calcium metabolism is perfectly normal. But your doctor and you have to get that checked to look at the dose you're taking to make sure that's well tolerated. And I usually do this once or twice a year with my patients. So no, that's a fine number.
Okay. Another one from Harlow. I like your new feature of your email notification when you answer a question. Nice. Okay. Next one from Harlow. What do you think of glutathione in a nebulizer versus a suppository?
Well, glutathione is a rather large molecule. Its absorption orally has some limitations. So nebulized glutathione has high deliverability, and it's associated with the surfactant on the inner lining of each sac alveoli in your lung to enhance the fluidity of that sac so it can expand and contract with each breath, and it helps with expelling debris and dust and viruses and things like that. So I think it's fine and a good way to deliver glutathione through a nebulizer, inhaling it like that. Transrectally, you do have in the rectum a plexus of veins whose job is to reabsorb the water so you don't have diarrhea, loose stools all the time. And in that function, it's an excellent area for medicine delivery. We've done this, with Tylenol suppositories, Compazine for nausea, pregnancy, and other medications. And so glutathione can be delivered through the rectum, but that's more for systemic antioxidant mitochondrial metabolism, okay, as opposed to the nebulizer is really for the lung surfactant in each little alveolar sac, but they're valuable.
Okay, the next one we have is from Emila. Hi, Dr. E. Trace minerals in citrate form versus picolinate form. Which one is better, absorbed better?
I don't know that there's that I'm aware of any study that looks at them comparatively. They're both chelates, and that is better than oxides. So like magnesium oxide, these are more abnormal forms of mineral delivery. So Albion produces all these wonderful amino acid chelates. Citrate is more behaving like a amino acid. It's smaller than picolinate, but I've never seen the two compared, so I couldn't say one is better than the other. And so I think right now, to my knowledge, over 40 years of doing this, that they're equivalent.
Okay. Next question is from Robert. I finally saw a proctologist, and he said my anal fissure is a result of a very tight sphincter and wrote a prescription for pelvic floor therapy. He thinks it also contributes to my urinary retention.
Well, I thought Robert was going to be giving us a joke, because he gives us jokes.
And I got to read it, but it wasn't a joke.
Well, I do think that it's very true that this fissure is very often benefited with pelvic floor therapy. It's something that's unusual. It's a very intimate type of therapy that you have to work with, but being well hydrated, eating enough fats. Remember, all this collagen, elastin around any part of our body, be it the entrance tube or the exit tube, it has to have those fats to have that elasticity and expandability. So I would certainly be a part of that. And there's a thing called womanology. Women have a lot of pelvic issues, especially as the floor of the pelvis on a woman begins to sag and fall through her pelvic floor into the vaginal canal. All right. And so womanology is a physical therapy where they do with bimanual hands, teaching the woman how to use certain exercises and muscle workout to help with that tone there. So I'm glad you're getting that.
Okay, can you scroll down there? I think we got another question from Robert. He says, issue, do you support using pelvic floor therapy? I think you went through that.
Mm-hmm.
Harlow, safe travels to Las Vegas, Dr. Rita.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
Harlow says, I was told by a chiropractor that studies have proven that eating liver will bring down inflammation. Do you recommend any specific liver supplements?
Well, there are liver concentrates, so you can take dehydrated, desiccated liver as capsule. It's highly nutritious, so that means it's full of phospholipids, minerals, and protein fats, okay, that help repair anything anywhere in your body. Your body is smart. And so, yes, if it repairs some of those punched out cell holes, it's going to reduce inflammation. So that's a true statement.
Okay, we've got another one from Harlow. You two are cute. Sisters are the best. I can tell she makes you happy. Thank you, Harlow. Okay, I think it's the last one here, or do we have more? Trezana. Such a blessing to see two sisters that love each other. Miss Debbie, your sister is the best doctor ever. I listen every week. I have to admit, I think she's the best doctor and one of the best sisters. I do have another one in Kentucky.
Thank you. Thank you.
Um,
Glory to God.
Yep, absolutely.
To whom much is given, we had great parents.
Absolutely.
Dad, we were just talking about Dr. Hopkins at Armor Food Research Lab.
Daddy.
And who was Artar?
Orhan Artar. And I forget his name, but Soto?
Yes, yeah,
Sato.
The guys in the lab there that was in the food research lab. So when we were little kids, hey, what kind of kids like Armor hot dogs? You and me. We were raised on them. We were raised on Armor.
Yeah, we had bags of Armor hot dogs.
Rolls and rolls, and you would pull them out like a string.
Yeah.
And Mommy would cut them off like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Hot dogs in our eggs, hot dogs in our stew.
Yeah.
Oh my
Hot dog
goodness.
soup. So yeah.
And Debbie, we had holy meat, didn't we?
Yeah.
Tell them what holy meat is.
Oh, Dad was in the lab technician, and they would take samples. They'd take a steak, and they would just take out plugs of samples after tenderizing, and they would do the sampling, and then the meat is just there. Well, you don't just throw the meat away. You take the meat home and feed your family of 4 daughters and your wife. So in this briefcase, and it was all okay with the company at the time, and took the meat home. So that's
How we had holy meat
holy meat.
all our lives.
And you re-warm it, and you put lots of ketchup on it.
Yes, yeah. That's before they had high fructose corn syrup.
Yes, that
yeah,
was before
because
that.
Dad got mad later on and said, "Don't do it." Yeah.
Okay, where are we?
We did
Carol.
Tiziana, yeah.
Carol is there. Great meeting your lovely sister. Thank you, Carol. I always see your name there too when I'm at the other end back in Illinois. So thank you, Carol. Nice to meet you here on this side. Harlow, amen. Trezana, yep. And then Harlow says, Dr. Rita, I'm a female, so the numbers you saw on my thyroid and hormones still okay? I'm in my 60s.
Yes, yeah, I would say so. Now, your estradiol is low, so obviously you're not on estradiol, and your progesterone is low. So if you don't have any contraindication to being on that, I would want you to have hormone replacement, estradiol, progesterone.
And then from Robert again, sorry, no humor tonight, but I love you guys. God bless. Well, we love you. I love you from the other side and this side, Robert, when I see you.
Yes, praise the Lord. All right, well, we've gone well over 7.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to draw this to an end. And we'll be doing this Tuesday nights now, folks. And then go to tlcdoctors.com, the website, and then you can look under blog for the transcripts. This will be a fun transcript one. And Blake is our IT working so wonderfully with us. God bless him. And then we'll be here next Tuesday at 6 o'clock. Or at least I will. I think you're flying back that night.
Monday.
And then we'll go from there. And if you have emails down in the link here, leave your email and we'll try and answer every single question.
We got through them all.
Yeah. And then finally, we want to wish you a happy voting day.
Yeah. Yep. Are the polls still open?
Yeah, I think they're still open for a little while. All right. Well, good night and take care and God bless to everyone from the TLC Health Freedom Drive. Okay, Debbie.